It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the Atlanta Braves. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday night to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium, Game 2 of the three-game series. Dodgers struggled winning at home a little bit earlier. Right now, they're on a roll. They've won 5 straight due to the fact that the starters are 5-0 with an earned run average collectively of 1.2. Talking about low ERAs, tonight's pitcher is Clayton Kershaw. In his last 6 starts, his record is 5-0 and an earned run average of 0.9. For Kershaw, when he makes his start, the Dodgers usually win. They are 10-1 when he goes to the mound. Unfortunately, for all the others, the Dodgers are 19-26. The Dodgers last year against Atlanta split 6. So far this year, they've won 3 of 4. Specifically, Clayton Kershaw this year is 7-1. He has no record against Atlanta this year, despite going 8 innings, allowing 1 run, and striking out 10. Dodgers won that game in extra innings. Bud Norris will be on the mound for the Braves. He is an older pitcher, been around since 2009 with the Astros. He was 15-8 2 years ago with Baltimore. However, with Atlanta, he is 1-6. No record this year with the Dodgers, 1-1 lifetime. Tomorrow, Matt Whistler and Scott Kazmir. So stay tuned for a good ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this. West, and meanwhile, grown men go back to a child's game before a full crowd here at Dodger Stadium. Sandy, Koufax many a time went to the mound and brought in big crowds, and Kershaw has certainly followed in his footsteps, and of course for very good reason. Kershaw on a phenomenal roll right now, 10-1 in his last bunch of games. He has an earned run average that is out of sight, and all in all deserves all of the fanfare that he has received, and he has received a lot. So for Brian Snitker, trying to come up with a lineup that might be able to beat him, and that's been a tough task indeed. Here's the way the Braves line up. Ender Inciarte in center field. Chase Darno, who played short last night, plays second base tonight. Freddie Freeman at first base. Jeff Francoeur hits cleanup in left field. Nick Markakis in right. Tyler Flowers, the catcher. Adonis Garcia at third base. Daniel Castro will try shortstop tonight, and the pitcher Bud Norris. Certainly for the Braves, they lost the injured Eric Ibar, and that has made a great difference, not only defensively but offensively as well. The Braves are 16.5 games behind Washington, and they face a Mount Olympus of the game, Clayton Kershaw. Ender Inciarte, good left-hand batter. In fact, last year, one of only 20 300 hitters in the major leagues. He hit 303, and the first pitch from Clayton is lifted foul off to the left and out of play. 0-1 the count. Inciarte from Maracaibo in Venezuela was originally drafted by the Diamondbacks. He is 4 for 10 against Kershaw. So the left-hand batter waits in the strike one pitch, a bunt attempt, and it's left in Ellis Mitt, and the count 0-2. The temperature on this lovely evening, 75 degrees. So over in the West Valley, it was over 100, and of course it was perfect setting for a fire. Strike two pitch on the way, fouled off. So Inciarte is still there. So Clayton Kershaw, 60-20 since 2013, and his earned run average 1.87. Over the last 4 years, Kershaw's ERA was 1.86. Little chopper for Inciarte to the right side. Easy play for the second baseman Utley, and we have one away. And let's take a look at the Dodgers with the leather as they set up behind Kershaw. Gonzalez and Utley, Seager and Turner, Kendrick, Peterson and Thompson, Ellis behind the plate, and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. For the Braves, not very happy to come in and play at Dodger Stadium anyway. They have to be very unhappy to get Kershaw. They have lost 6 of the last 7 games played here. So Chase Darno, he's the brother of Travis Darno, the injured catcher with the New York Mets. Darno takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Darno last night struck out twice hit back to the box. Strike one pitch on the way is hit in the air, slicing to right center. Peterson is on his horse and makes a backhand running catch. So a nice play by Jock, covering a lot of ground. That ball going away from him on the dead run, and he was able to spear it in full stride. Thompson letting him come all the way, and Jock makes the catch, backhanding it. So 2 down, and Freddie Freeman coming up. Freeman, the local boy who has done so many wonderful things, but struggling right now. And he swings, fouls a pitch back, and the count 0-1. Freeman hitting only .249, 3 for 12 in the past against Kershaw. And the strike one pitch on the way. The left-hand hitter takes high. A changeup that didn't bend. It just stayed up in the air like a runaway balloon. So 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 down first inning and no score. Kershaw ready. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball on the outside corner at the knees, and the count 1-2. Always interesting when Kershaw pitches. You look at the opposition dugout, and boy, you talk about all eyes on one man. That's the picture. The 1-2 pitch to Freeman is swung on and missed, and down go the Braves. No runs, no hits, a strikeout, and at the end of half an inning, Braves nothing, Dodgers coming up. And despite what appears to be a Hollywood set, the sky glowing red to maroon, outlining the palm trees and the structure of Dodger Stadium, it is a very unhappy and threatening scene out in Calabasas. Meanwhile, here at Dodger Stadium, we'll take a look at Dave Roberts' lineup, as the Roberts, having won 5 in a row here, trying to extend it. Chase Utley will begin. We don't want to miss a pitch, so we'll give you the lineup in between pitches. Bud Norris is ready to make the delivery. So Chase Utley experienced kind of a nightmare game, but he's been through everything in his career, striking out 4 times last night and takes a strike. So Utley, Mr. Consistency in the leadoff role, checking in and trying to get something started right away against Norris. Norris, right-hander, into his windup. Back he comes, fastball away. He's still throwing hard. He hit 95 on the gun. Norris lives in Novato, California, up near San Francisco. Despite the fact, bad numbers, 1-6, a record, and an ERA of almost 6. He is still a veteran pitcher who knows how to pitch. Utley fouls it away, and the count 1-2. So Utley, Seager, and Turner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Adrian Gonzalez, as usual, in the cleanup spot. Utley, with 4 strikeouts last night, has struck out 40 times now, and he's right up there. Adrian Gonzalez has struck out 44. Yasiel Puig 41. Jock Peterson has struck out 53, and he's really a hungry young hitter. And the next pitch missing, and that runs the count all the way. By the way, the Giants leading the Dodgers by 5.5 games, and they have just lost to the Cardinals. Cardinals 7, Giants 4. Cardinals hit 4 home runs off starter Jeff Samardzija. 3-2 the count to Utley. Norris' pitch is pulled down the right field line, foul. So Utley, right on top of that pitch, just pulled it a little much, and it's still 3-2. Bud Norris was originally signed by the Astros way back in 2006. Came up to the big leagues in 2009. Pitching for the Astros. He was 6-3 in his first year. 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. So for Utley now in the doldrums of having struck out 5 straight times. And the batter will be Corey Seager. Corey electrified the crowd last night. He had grounded out in the first inning, Homered in the 4th, homered in the 6th, and homered in the 8th. So Seager now with 12 home runs, hitting .283, 31 runs batted in. 12 home runs. The rookie leads the club. A poor swing on a pitch that fooled him badly, and the count 0-1. Been a couple of years. Bud Norris' best year was 2014. He was 15-8. Right-hander ready, and his strike one fastball. Ground ball to the right side. Darno was up with it, and quickly 2 out in the first inning. The story on Norris, his real name is David. David Norris Jr. They say with the family they went into a restaurant, and he was about 3 years old, and some of the grown-up adults ordered beer, and then the waiter turned to 3-year-old Norris and said, "And what will you have, son?" And he said, "Bud." And that broke up everybody, and from that moment on, he became Bud Norris. Wiser and older. 2 down, here's Turner, and the first pitch off the plate, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Justin out here early today taking extra batting practice, trying to come up with a solution. 0 for 14 with 5 strikeouts. Norris delivers, and it's fouled away, and the count 1-1. It has to be maddening when you've had 2 solid years, and all of a sudden it seems as if you don't now know how to hit. And of course he didn't forget how to hit, but it's all part of one of the difficult things in any sport, hitting a baseball. 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball is low. Norris throwing hard. I didn't expect that. He just hit 96. One of Norris's prized possessions, his grandfather gave him a baseball autographed by Joe DiMaggio. Since he lives outside of San Francisco, you can understand that. Turner, meanwhile, takes another 96 for a strike, and the count 2-2. Norris, a great all-around athlete. As a kid growing up, he played football, basketball, swimming, golf, water polo, and baseball, and anything else the kids could dream up. 2-2 the count. Norris ready. Here he comes. Ground ball to short. Up with it is Castro. Takes dead aim, and that's that. So Bud Norris, a nice inning for him with a strikeout and a couple of ground balls. And at the end of an inning, no score. Twins along with their mom and dad. One boy is Clayton and the other is Duke. They are actually christened with that. Clayton Koufax and Duke Robinson. Welcome to the club, boys. We'll see you in 20 years. And the first pitch now to Jeff Francoeur. Off-speed breaking ball misses, ball one. 1-0 the count. Francoeur hitting .278 and doing very well, just under .340 against left-hand pitching. Kind of takes an awkward swing and a 1-ball 1-strike count. Clayton ready in the 1-1 pitch. Fastball, a hopper by the diving third baseman Turner and on out into left field. So Francoeur hitting .339 against left-handers, and he blisters one for a base hit against Clayton Kershaw. So Francoeur, a hot shot just by the glove of the diving Turner. And the batter now will be Nick Markakis. Markakis, another left-hand batter. In the lineup tonight, Inciarte, Freeman, and Markakis. Those are the left-hand batters. Nick hasn't seen much of Kershaw, but he is 2 for 3 against him in the past. Clayton set at the belt, comes to the hitter, and it's fouled back. And the count 0-1. Markakis, big fella, he's 6'1", about 215. Matching Kershaw, wearing number 22. He has 9 go-ahead RBIs, 2 off the National League lead. Kershaw looking over at Francoeur, staring at him now to the plate, and it misses low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nick brings up a .237 batting average, but he has a home run, 29 runs batted in. Kershaw in quest of his 8th win. Back he comes, and it's swung on and missed slider. 1-2 the count. The Dodgers, in the 11 previous starts that Clayton has made, the team is 10-1. He, as you know, is 7-1. 2-0 lifetime. Might have an even more impressive pitching rep as far as the Braves are concerned. And they pick off at first base, and a hammering balk instead. And down to second base goes Francoeur. So Kershaw, who has balked a few times and made what appeared to be a pretty good throw over there, instead he's charged with his 3rd balk. And it's Cowboy Joe West, who is the umpire at first, who called it. The whole idea, a balk, very simplified, and Joe West will now get a little company as Dave Roberts starts to come out on the field. Utley appealing, but that's done, and the balk is in the books. Basically, you must throw where you are striding. So the balk, how you avoid it, is to find that middle ground between throwing to the plate and throwing to first. And whenever you hear about a left-hander, because it only involves left-handers, having a very good move to first, that means they are shading the balk rule. The pitch of the plate is a little low, and the count 2-2. So Francoeur singled, balked to second base by Kershaw, his 3rd balk of the year. Markakis, Flowers, and finally Garcia in line to pick him up. Kershaw out of his stretch, big stretch as usual, and the 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's swung on and fouled back, and so Nick is still there. The Braves have lost 3 out of 4 against the Dodgers. They've lost 6 of the last 7 here. It has been a terrible first half. They began the year losing 9 in a row, then they won 4, then they lost 8 in a row, and they were 2-20 at home. 2-2 pitch on the way. Markakis takes in the dirt. It rumbles away from Ellis, but not far enough for advancement of Francoeur. 3-2 the count. Markakis, a good man. When he was in Baltimore, he had a foundation called Right Side Foundation, created to help distressed children, whether they are disadvantaged, sick, lonely, or grieving, all throughout the state of Maryland. Nick from Moncton, Georgia, and the 3-2 pitch coming up. Markakis looks, swings, fouls it away. Markakis, when he first came up to Baltimore, was a big number. He had 23 home runs, 112 runs batted in back in 07. In 09, he had 18 home runs and 101 runs batted in. But then it just seemed to get tougher and tougher, and he never could post those numbers again. So here he is in the National League with the Braves. 3-2 pitch coming up. Markakis swings and misses, and down he goes. Strikeout number 2 for Clayton Kershaw.
Pitcher number 25, Tyler Flowers.
Tyler Flowers, right-hand hitting catcher, coming up. Markakis makes the long walk back to the dugout. Because over his years, Markakis had only struck out over 100 times twice. So he's a tough out. Tyler Flowers hitting .253. Dodgers finding it very tough to pitch to him. Hitting almost .450 against the staff, and he takes ball 1. Flowers last night singled, scored a run, grounded out, struck out, and popped up. One ball and no strikes. Flowers, who wears glasses, hitting and catching. The 1-0 pitch swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. I remember the first time I ever saw a catcher wearing glasses. Stan Lopata with the Phillies way back, and they were driving glasses. They were tinted yellow. He was really having trouble with the lights at night. 1-1 pitch on the way is swung on and fouled off. No score. Second inning. Francoeur ground ball single hard into left field. Balked to second. Markakis strikes out. And Flowers up there trying to keep the inning alive with Garcia on deck. Clayton set at the belt. Looks back, then goes to the big stretch. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Flowers swings a chopper to third. Turner making the play, going over to third and getting a drawing a throw, but not in time. It was Kershaw handling the throw from Adrian Gonzalez. So Flowers grounds out to third. Adrian tried to get it over there as fast as he could, but it was a tricky bouncer. Turner couldn't charge it, and that made the play. It was interesting that Kershaw, instead of backing up third, was handling the throw. Who was backing up third? The shortstop, Corey Seager. So 2 down, a runner at third, no score in the second inning, and Adonis Garcia checking in. Kershaw ready, comes out of his stretch, fastball low, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Garcia in last night's game hitting .233. He had 2 singles and a comebacker, and in his career he's done pretty well. 2 for 4 against Kershaw. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Kershaw deals, swung on, foul ball. We mentioned last night Adonis, always a gift, a beautiful man, going all the way back to Greek mythology. If I understand correctly, in Hebrew, in the Jewish language, Adonai would mean God. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Change up, pull foul, 1-2. The Greek mythology is weird. A girl named Smyrna is going to have a baby. She tricked the king. When he finds out about it, the king is going to kill her. The gods make her a tree, and 9 months later the tree delivers Adonis. Got that? Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on, fouled away. So this Adonis, by the name of Garcia, good young ball player, trying to pick up Francoeur. Kershaw, with a couple of balks, also has 2 wild pitches. That's always a threat, and the pressure for the catcher. In this case, A.J. Ellis. 1-2 pitch on the way. Adonis takes at his feet, and the count 2-2. Garcia is from Cuba. Not a big man. He's 5'9", about 190. Kershaw ready, looks over at third. Francoeur down the line. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Big hard slider down and in to take care of him. 3 strikeouts for Clayton. No runs, a hit, and a man left. And at the end of an inning and a half, one more time, Kershaw with the slider, and down goes Adonis. No score. Of the second inning, looking off to the west. It is not only a threatening sky, it is not only an awesome sky, but it's also an indication trouble in the far west, out in Calabasas and in the mountains of Malibu. Big fire going on out there. Meanwhile, a pitch to Adrian in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Hitting .289. 5 home runs, 27 runs batted in, jammed and fouls it away. So Adrian in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. No score in the second. Dodgers trying to win their 7th in the last 8 meetings here at Dodger Stadium against Atlanta. And Adrian fouls another one away. 0-2 the count. The crowd understandably quiet, looking up at the sky. There is a message up there for all of us, and all of us get the message. Here's the strike 2 pitch, low and inside. 1-2 the count to Adrian Gonzalez. Trace Thompson, and then Jock Peterson coming up. Meanwhile, if you're one of 2 twins, little girls with ribbons in your hair, they're not looking up at the sky. The next pitch, a little roller to the right side. Darno very careful to handle it. And just like that, 1 out. Say, be sure to celebrate Dodger pitching great Don Newcomb's 90th birthday this coming Wednesday. And the first 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Don Newcomb bobblehead presented by United Healthcare. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. 1 down, second inning. Trace Thompson coming up. Thompson homered last night. For that matter, has homered in 2 straight games to give him 9. Trace batting .280, and the right-hand hitter checks in. Norris, who pitches out of a stretch, starts with a low fastball in the zone at 95 for a strike. 0-1 to count. So Bud Norris knows how to pitch. There's no two ways about that. Pitching in the big leagues almost 8 years. Strike one pitch. He comes back hard. Swung on and missed. Looked like a slider. No balls and 2 strikes the count. For Norris, although he is starting, he has been in and out of the role as a starter and a reliever. Bud ready, turns, strike 2 pitch on the way, is in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Back in April when Norris pitched, he reached the 1,000 inning mark in his career. So he knows all about it. Bud ready, right-handed delivers, off speed, pull foul over to the Dodger dugout, and the count remains 1-2 to Trace Thompson. Thompson last night, not only a home run, he also had a double. Trace waiting. Norris turns. 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball off the plate, and the count 2-2. Trace Thompson collected his first career multi-home run game early in May against the Angels. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's in the dirt to the backstop. 3-2 the count. Norris appeared to be overthrowing on that last pitch, just trying to get something extra on it. Bud ready, 1 out, on deck Jock Peterson. Norris shakes no, now yes, and the 3-2 pitch, fastball grounded to first baseman Freeman, and he'll take it to the bag. That pitch was in a perfect spot. It was borderline on the corner. It was knee high. Thompson took a half swing at it because he wasn't sure, and he reached for it and rolled it to first. So a good pitch that was actually out of the strike zone. And with 2 down, the batter is Jock Peterson. Peterson is really struggling as Thompson goes back to talk. For Jock Peterson, sure, he has 8 home runs, but he is 0 for his last 20 with 6 strikeouts. So Jock, trying to find the answer, pulls away on a strike, and the count 0-1. Norris throwing hard, living in the 95, 96 neighborhood. Garcia all alone on the left side as Castro has joined d'Arnaud and Freeman on the right. The next pitch away. So Norris was inside, then outside, 1 at 95, 1 at 94, and he has a 1-1 count. Bud Norris an even 6, a good 220. And the right-hander's 1-1 pitch inside. Oh, let's see. He went inside, then outside, back inside again. So if you're the hitter, you're wondering, is that going to be his move, this at bat? Will he work away? Well, we'll see. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Swung on, whacked down the right field line, just on the chalk. Fair ball. Peterson on his way to 2, and Markakis gets it back into the infield. So having gone 0 for 20, Peterson doubles, and a round of applause from someone who knows about the problem, and that, of course, was Chase Utley, who gave a quick slap of his hand to salute Jock. So where he was inside and outside, he came right over the plate, and it hit the chalk. It hit the so-called foul line, but of course it's really a fair line, and Peterson has a 2-out double. I can just imagine a foreigner trying to learn baseball, and you say to him, now those are the foul lines. There's fair and there's foul, and those lines are foul. But if it's in play and the ball touches it, it's fair, right? Got that? Okay. And here's Howie Kendrick, and he takes ball 1. Or you're again explaining, see those big high poles down each line? They're the foul poles to divide fair and foul. And if a ball hits the foul pole, it's fair. And you say, got it. Sure. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Norris delivers, ground ball to the right side. Darno is up with it and makes the play. If you want to hear a funny routine somewhere, come up with Bob Newhart just talking about baseball and how it's played. It is hysterical. At the end of 2, no score. The apparent threatening skies, but it is smoke coming from the west. A fire in the Calabasas, Malibu area. Here is Daniel Alejandro Castro, and he takes a 92-miler for a strike, and the count 0-1. He's from Sonoma, Mexico. 23 years old. Right-hand batter takes a look, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Castro plays second and short. Right-hand hitter, not doing very much with the bat yet. Takes another pitch low. Castro getting just under 200. Darno played short last night. As we mentioned, Eric Ibar, the former Angel, is on the DL, and he would mean a great deal, not only for the shortstop spot, for the Braves in general. So meanwhile, Clayton Kershaw, he has given up a base hit to Francoeur. He has struck out 3. 3-1 pitch to Castro is inside, ball 4. So Daniel Castro goes to first. The first walk given up by Kershaw. That's not according to his plan. To use an old line out of New York that I heard, he gives up a walk as easily as you give up a tattoo. So that would be the 6th walk that Clayton has given up, with 108 strikeouts. So here's Norris, and we'll expect him to bunt. We'll see. Kershaw ready, looks at first. Norris shows bunt, pops it foul. It will drop untouched. Neither Gonzalez nor Ellis had a chance. So Kershaw walking the number 8 hitter in the lineup. That is kind of shocking. You realize this year he's the big man in strikeout to walk ratio, 21-6. Then you had Cliff Lee 19-1, David Wells way back, and Brad Radke and Kurt Schilling all 14-1. So Curtin ready, set. The strike 1 pitch. Norris pops that one foul, and the count 0-2. Norris shaking his head out of frustration as he looks at Bo Porter to find out whether the bunts on. He does have a base hit. He has a triple. And he has been able to get a bunt down twice. Bud's 31 years old. Kershaw out of a stretch. Castro hardly any lead at all. And the bunt attempt is taken at the plate. No bunt. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Kershaw coming off a tough inning for him. 26 pitches. Clayton reading Ellis. Another look over at Castro. The 1-2 pitch. Norris shows bunt. Gets it down finally. It's Adrian who picks it up, and he only plays to Utley. So Norris does succeed and move his man Castro to second. So 1 out, runner in scoring position, and Ender Inciarte coming up. 5s all around for Norris. Tough at bat. Looks so easy to walk up and bunt, but it's anything, and you can imagine against a guy like Kershaw. So Inciarte trying to pick him up. The boy from Mexico is at second base, and the boy from Venezuela at the plate. Kershaw out of a stretch with 1 out in the 3rd. No score. Clayton's fastball is bunted. Out in the plate as Ellis fires to first in time. Over to third on the bunt goes Castro, but Inciarte was bunting for a base hit. A bad idea, but it didn't work. He dropped it up along the third baseline, but Ellis still had time to shoot him down. 2-3 if you're scoring. Runner at third. 2 out, and the batter is d'Arnaud. Chase d'Arnaud hitting .323, but he's only had 60 some odd at bats. And swings, hits one foul off to the right and out of play. 0-1 to Chase d'Arnaud. It was interesting. I mentioned it a little bit last night. He came up against the Mets when he was with the Phillies, and Chase was a pinch hitter. His brother is the catcher, and they finally got him because the brother remembered that there was a pitch he used to throw to him in the backyard, and he called for that. I guess you'd call it a slider, and he got him, and he said, I knew it because of that. Little nubber. Kershaw down to the line, picks it up, fires in time for the out. That's the best fastball he's thrown tonight. Very tough play, and Kershaw is there to make it. He had to go to the line, whirl and fire, and it was there ahead of d'Arnaud. And at the end of 2.5, no score. Watching on television, they're looking out at the screen. There was just a proposal for marriage. It was accepted, and they were gazing, I'm sure, with their own thoughts about getting married in a ballpark. Meanwhile, bottom of the third, no score, and A.J. Ellis takes off the plate, ball one. Ellis, Kershaw, and Utley in that order. 1-0 the count. Norris, left foot in front of the right, comes back with a good fastball at 94, and the count 1-1 strike. No score in the third, each side with one hit. Norris 1-1 pitch on the way. Ellis swings at a fastball up and doesn't get it, and the count 1-2. So for a veteran pitcher like Bud Norris with a poor record of 1-6, it must be a tremendous challenge for him, not only to pitch and win, but to outpitch Kershaw. 1-2 fastball is sprayed foul down the right field line, out of play. Still 1-2. AJ in that very difficult role of being in and out of the lineup. However, Yasmani Grandal has a bad hand. We'll find out more about it, but that could be a problem. 1-2 pitch is foul back, though Ellis is still there. 25 years ago today, Spunky Lasorda, Tommy and Joe's son, died, and tonight his life was celebrated before the game with a beautiful cause. We'll tell you in a moment. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up to AJ. Norris ready. Fastball rolled to short. Backing up a little is Castro, but he makes the play for the out. One down. A gentleman by the name of Jim Patoco, the president of Stife North America, presented an original Stife collectible toy golden retriever puppy named after Spunky in honor of Tommy and Joe's late son. Now the idea, they will be selling those, and 100% of the proceeds of the sale of this limited edition Stife stuffed animal will benefit Canine Companions for Independence. Their mission is to train highly skilled service dogs, pair them with individuals with disabilities at no charge. Kershaw takes a strike. So the presentation before the game, and so very meaningful. 0-1 the count. Strike one pitch on the way, taken low. 1-1 strike. The dirty, smoky overlay has now reached across the sky, all the way out past the lights in right field, as if heading towards the mountains. The 1-1 pitch low and inside, ball two, 2-1. What is behind that would be the fires out west in Calabasas and apparently in Malibu Canyon, if I have that correctly. 2-1 the count. Norris ready, and the pitch taken away, ball three, 3-1. So if you are anywhere else in the country, you might not live with fires, please God, but out here fires happen. All that great weather that we have, things are dry from the drought. The entire Southern California area is a tinderbox. 3-1 pitch in there for a strike, and the count 3-2. No score, bottom of the third. Chase Utley waiting on deck. Norris very deliberate now, facing Kershaw. And the 3-2 pitch on the way. Clayton swings, slaps it to the left of short. Smothered by Castro, who throws too late. And Kershaw has a base hit. So Clayton finds a way, coming up with his 7th hit. Castro a great stop, and then Danny tried to throw while on his knees. Couldn't get a lot on the throw. It bounced, and Kershaw with a lunge just able to beat the throw. Nice effort, but a runner at first with one out. And here's Chase Utley, who, believe it or not, has struck out 5 consecutive times. Utley 0 for 1. Norris out of his stretch. And the right-hander delivers. High fly ball into deep center, but playable. Inciarte is out there to make the catch, and Kershaw has to get back to first.
Number 5.
So 2 down, and Corey Seager coming up. Seager grounded out in the first inning, hitting .282. The big man on the club right now, 12 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Coming off that big game last night. Meanwhile, Julio Teheran, who was out there pitching, relives the moments, I'm sure. The first pitch to Utley, or I should say to Seager, after Utley has flied out off the corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Norris and Kershaw. Bud Norris, and I'm sure every pitcher has a certain routine, and Norris certainly has one. His 1-0 pitch, and Seager takes very high ball 2. For instance, exactly an hour and 5 minutes before the first pitch, if the game, let's say, is 7:10, he's in the shower at 6 o'clock. He showers, changes, stretches, headphones, bullpen, goes to the mound at 6:45-ish. By the way, one of the things he does before every game, he puts on his baseball pants on 2 legs at a time. Here's the pitch, change, and it's in there for a strike. So as he says, try it sometime. Put on pants 2 legs at a time. And he's about ready to go out there and pitch. Kershaw standing at first with exactly 79 hits. That ties him with Mike Leake for 5th among active pitchers. Cole Hamels and Adam Wainwright, they're the tops. They each have 105 hits. 2-1 the count. Seager swings, doesn't get it. 2-2. Well, I'm not sure what it means. The dirtiest part of the overhead has moved out towards the mountains, so it is lighting up a little bit. Maybe that's a good sign right here in the ballpark. 2-2 the count. Seager waiting, no score, bottom of the 3rd. And Norris delivers, and it's fouled away off to the left. For Seager, he is unusual in the sense that he can hit home runs to all parts of the field. In other words, he can hit them to right, to left center, and to left. And last night, one of the home runs inside the foul pole down the left field line. Kershaw at first, held on by Freeman. Norris ready, and the 2-2 pitch. Seager takes inside, ball 3. Norris has flirted 3-2, but he hasn't walked anybody yet. Waiting on deck, Justin Turner, still covered with dirt, diving for the ball hit by Frank Hooer back in the 2nd inning. 3-2 to Corey Seager. Here comes Norris, looks over at Kershaw, who goes the pitch in the dirt, gets away from Flowers, but stopping at second is Kershaw. So the first walk goes to Corey Seager. Kershaw now at second.
Justin Turner.
2 on, 2 out, and the batter Justin Turner. Turner grounded to short in the first inning. For Bud Norris, making his first start since April the 27th. He then went into the bullpen. First spot of trouble for him. He had given up a 2-out double to Peterson, but got Kendrick. Now he has 2 on and 2 out, and Turner at the plate. Norris fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. The center fielder Inciarte moving slightly to his left, shading Turner to right center. pretty good gap between Francoeur in left and Inciarte. No balls and 1 strike to count to Justin Turner. No score. Bottom of the 3rd. Strike 1 pitch. Instead, Turner's not ready and backs out. Justin's average as he stands at the plate has dropped down to .219. The next pitch is swung out, ground ball up the middle. It's a base hit. Kershaw is going to be waved in. The throw goes to 3rd, and that's safe. So the Dodgers have a run, and they have runners at 2nd and 3rd. I was a little surprised that Inciarte wouldn't try to get Kershaw on a base hit up the middle. You have the pitcher running. Inciarte charges, and he decides to go to the runner at 3rd and missed him. Meanwhile, Kershaw scored. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Dodgers lead 1-0. And for Justin Turner, the old expression, I need a base hit so badly I can taste it. Well, he can taste it. Base hit and a run batted in. Inciarte, a Gold Glover out there in center. Very, very frustrated. So Kershaw does it all. An infield single, goes to 2nd on a walk, and scores on a base hit to center. Norris now has to work on Gonzalez with first base open. And a right-hand hitter, Thompson on deck. Comebacker knocked down. Norris picks it up, lobs it to first, and that's the inning. Dodgers scramble for a run thanks to a single by Kershaw, who eventually comes around to dent the plate. 1-0 Dodgers. Is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. 1-0 Dodgers. We go to the 4th inning. The great Henry Aaron at the plate. There's a wonderful story during the World Series with the Yankees one year, and Aaron came up to hit, and Yogi Berra was the Yankee catcher, and Yogi said to Aaron, "Hey Hank, the label is up." What he meant is the label of the company that made the bat, and when you play baseball with the bat, you never want to have the ball hit the label. That's the weakest spot of the bat. So Yogi said, "Hey Hank, the label is up." And Aaron replied, "I ain't reading up here, Yogi." What a player, what a man, what a joy to be around. Henry Aaron. Special. All right, 1-0 favor the Dodgers. We're in the 4th inning. It'll be Freeman, Francoeur, and Markakis. And the first pitch is strike. By the way, you might wonder, here are the numbers 3, 4, and 5 hitters. That's the heart of an offense on a team. How has Kershaw done against the 3, 4, and 5 hitters? Well, there's a slicing drive to the gap in left center. Peterson is over to cut it off. Nice defensive play to keep Freeman at first base. So Freeman a base hit to left center, and the batter will be Francoeur. Well, coming up to that very moment, the number 3 hitters were hitting 152 against Kershaw. The cleanup hitters hitting 206 with 1 home run. And the number 5 hitter hitting less than 100, 086. Another part of Clayton Kershaw. Francoeur single to left. Fouls it back. 0-1. Francoeur's ground ball by the diving Turner. He got as far as third, but Markakis struck out and Garcia struck out. So Kershaw shutting down the Braves and then scored the only Dodger run. And 1-0 LA. Slider 0-2. One nothing Dodgers. Runner at first, Freeman, top of the 4th, nobody out. Fastball away, did he? No, he didn't, says Cowboy Joe. Joe West, the only umpire, I believe, who is a recording star, made some albums of cowboy music, Western music, so he picked up the nickname Cowboy Joe. 1-2. Fouled away. I think it was Joe West, one of the umpires, made a gift to me. They gave me a book. I have it at home. I keep it displayed. And it says Everything I Know About Broadcasting by Vin Scully. And I open the book and they're all blank. Every page is blank. So I always keep that book out when people are coming. That's perfect. Way to go, Joe. Change up misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, when some people look at the cover of the book and think, what is this guy? A book, what he knows about baseball. What? But when they open it, oh boy. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball hit late and foul. Still 2-2. Francoeur, Markakis waiting on deck. 3 left-hand batters in the lineup against Kershaw. Inciarte the leader, Freeman, and Markakis. Francoeur up there right now to break the left-handed chain. 2-2. Hit down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. We're only in the 4th inning, but again an inside into Kershaw. He's already gotten 8 swings and misses, and 7 of those 8 are on his slider. That's that down and dirty pitch at about 88 miles an hour. 2-2. Down he goes. That was the slider. So Francoeur becomes strikeout number 4.
22, Nick Markakis.
Boy, it's almost unfair when you can throw 95, then you throw that hard slider about 88, and then you come back with the mid-70s with the changeup and throwing them all for strikes. So 1 out. Markakis struck out in the 2nd inning. Starts him with a strike. Slider on the corner. Freeman, a short lead at first, has tried to increase it a little, but not much. 1 ball and 1 strike. Freeman is a big fella, but doesn't do any base stealing. Takes a cautious lead at first. Kershaw just looking at him. And the 1-1 pitch. Fastball, but a little low. 2-1. Beautiful evening in the ballpark. A horrific evening out in Calabasas and Malibu, or the Malibu Mountains. Agoura Hills. Two and one. Dodgers lead 1-0 fourth inning. Giants lost earlier to the Cardinals. Ground ball up with it is Turner. They get one. They get two. Bill Markakis, a 5-4-3 double play. No runs a hit. Nobody left. And at the end of 3.5, still Dodgers won. Braves nothing. One to nothing in favor of the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw getting a rest. He made 57 pitches in the 4 innings. He got a base hit and scored the Dodger run. And now Trace Thompson, Jock Peterson, and Howie Kendrick. Thompson grounded out to Freddie Freeman. The infield playing Thompson to pull. Interesting, however, the outfield is split. The left fielder Francoeur is deep in left. Inciarte is not deep, shading in right center, and Markakis is pretty shallow in right field. Of course, how you place them, it's like real estate. Location is so important. Fastball missing. 1-1. Dodgers got in a little bit of trouble moving people with laser beams, but the wave will do it. 1-1 pitch on the way. Ball 2. 2-1. Jock Peterson waiting on deck. Dodgers are 2 games above 500. 29 wins, 27 losses. Norris in the dirt, and Kershaw has given 7 victories. But remember, if you take all of his starts, there are a couple where he had no decision and pitched well. The Dodgers won. So when he goes to the mound this year, the Dodgers are 10-1. Change. Ball 4. So Thompson draws the walk. That's the second walk given up by Norris.
Number 31, Scott Peterson.
Scott Peterson, who had been 0 for 20, doubled to right field in the second inning. A very aggressive hitter. He has not come close to drawing a walk in his last 37 plate appearances. Almost threw that away. Nice play by Freddie Freeman. He really had to go up and get it. Otherwise, that's way down the line, and the Dodgers probably have a runner at third with nobody out. Watch Freddie. Up. Big play. Yeah, he can do it all. The boy from Orange. We're in the fourth inning. Dodgers lead 1-0. Kershaw singled, went to second on a walk, scored on a base hit by Justin Turner. That's a strike. We mentioned earlier about Bud Norris's grandfather who got him an autographed ball from Joe DiMaggio. His grandfather played at Cal Berkeley. Soft line drive, caught, and no further play. So Peterson, soft line drive to d'Arnaud, 1 out. Well, anyway, Bud's grandfather went to spring training with the Yankees, and that's where he got the ball. Oh, you talk about it. Hats full of dreams, those two little guys. Yeah, there they are. I watched my grandson on a team of they were 10 and 11-year-olds. They were so good, I could not believe it. Of course, the kids out here, they play baseball, especially if you're on a team. You can play almost all year. Travel teams and club teams, but those kids were remarkable. Oh, and 1. No chance. Thompson has a stolen base, so Norris keeping an eye on him. Meanwhile, since he has not started since late April, and we're in June, he's been in the bullpen. So the Braves are watching him, and they're checking the bullpen, I assume, to see what's going on. So Terry Pendleton checking. Maybe they thought that they had gotten him on the tag, but Joe was there to say no play. Okay. Norris making his 64th pitch. 0-2. Dodgers scored a run in the third. Kershaw leading the way with his arm and with his bat. Singled with 1 out and worked his way around for the only run of the game. One and 2. Dave Roberts trying to catch an offense. Oh yes, they won last night, but 5 hits, that doesn't get it. Right now they have 3 hits, leading 1-0. Fast one down. Now he was throwing 95 and 96 in the first 2 innings. He's been throwing 90 now. Let's see if he can get it back up or not. 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trace Thompson with those long strides. He can run if they turn him loose. Kendrick 0 for 1 at the plate. Thompson goes, hit and run. It's off the plate. Quick throw down. Not in time. We'll see if the Braves want to argue that or not. Backhanded. Flowers got it down there. Looked like he slid into the tag, but where the umpire Ramon de Jesus stands, he did not see any tag. So the Braves are looking towards the dugout. Pendleton on the phone again. And this time I believe they're asking for a review. Yes, they are.
Call on the field is under review.
It was very close. That was a wonderful play by Tyler Flowers to backhand the ball. A quick delivery. The tag seemed to be going right into the sliding Thompson. Oh, we'll take another look. Did he get him right there as he went by? Looked like Darno has the ball. Now, did he get him before the foot hit? De Jesus says no. Every angle is extremely close. Did that glove touch him there? And where was the foot? It is worthy of review. Let's put it that way. That was a big league play from Flowers down to Darno. Braves are interested on the grass behind the mound, looking up at the big monitor. The umpires are listening to New York, while at the same time looking up at one of the big monitors. Meanwhile, Flowers, I think, saying to Nars, how about you and I play catch? Let's stay loose while they're looking. All right. No verdict yet. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 2 hits for the Braves. Clayton Kershaw, Bud Norris. Tomorrow, it'll be Whistler and Kazmir. Darno, from his reactions, really thought that he had gotten a tag. But let's see. That's Chase. And the big duty of the umpires, of course, get it right. Sometimes getting it right is pretty difficult, and this was one of them. Joe West talking back to New York, and here's the result. Safe. Okay. So Trace Thompson steals second on a very, very close play. It was a wonderful combination from Tyler Flowers to Chase Darno, but Thompson just did beat it. But it was a big major league play, even if they missed. So with 1 out, a runner at second, and the batter is Kendrick, working on a full count. And ball 4. So for Bud Norris, 2 walks in the inning. He's now made 68 pitches. And A.J. Ellis followed by Kershaw. Brian Snitker maybe passing out a sign to Tyler Flowers. So Thompson and Kendrick out there, Ellis at the plate. Dodgers trying to add to a 1-0 lead, knowing full well that the Giants lost to the Cardinals 7-4. By the way, Jeff Samardzija, the starting pitcher for the Giants, who won 7 lost his last time out, and he lost today, giving up 4 home runs to the Cardinals. Clayton waiting on deck. 1 ball and no strikes. That's a strike. Eric O'Flaherty begins to warm up in the Braves bullpen. High fly ball into right center. Inciardi going back on the grass to the track, makes the catch. Tagging up at second is Thompson to go to third. Holding at first is Howie Kendrick. So it's a long fly ball out, advancing a runner, and it'll bring up Kershaw with 2 outs.
Number 22, Clayton Kershaw.
So Kershaw, who singled in the 3rd inning and eventually came around to score. Clayton now has 7 hits this year, batting .219. Tyler Flowers reminding everybody 2 out. Kendrick at first, Thompson at third, Norris in a spot, and the Dodgers leading 1-0. With a runner at third, we'll check. Norris has 1 wild pitch. There goes the runner. The throw down. The tag is missed. Holding at third is Thompson. So Castro caught the throw on the dead run. Flowers got it down there, but this time Kendrick, going in head first, got the hand on before the tag on the foot. No contest there. So second and third, 2 out. 0-1 the count to Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers lead 1-0. Thompson down the line from third. One ball and 1 strike. You don't usually see any base running when you have a pitcher at the plate, but when you have a good hitting pitcher, he can worth the try. If they get the runner, Clayton's not a bad guy to lead off an inning. 1-1. I'm not sure if he's tiring or not. The Braves certainly know. Norris is not throwing as hard as he did in the first 2 innings. Again, remember, as Roger McDowell watches him, great pitching coach, fine pitcher in his playing days. 2-1. Foul ball. I think that got a little bit of the plate umpire. Kerwin Danley. Take a look. Got him on the leg. Right leg right there. So deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 2 on at second and third, and number 22 at the plate. Got him. All right. All that running and scurrying and looking winds up no runs, no hits, 2 walks, 2 left, stolen base, and zip in the inning. And at the end of 4, 1-0 Dodgers. Is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's back. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. Two people you would have loved to know, Joe Torre on the right, Bobby Cox on the left. That picture, the tip-off is not only Joe Torre wearing the windbreaker, so you know it was his time as the Dodger manager, but the big tip-off to the picture is the fact that Bobby Cox is sitting down. And you say, what are you talking about? Well, Bobby had both knees replaced prior to the surgery. It was too painful to sit down and then try to get up. So he would stand in the dugout throughout the game. So now that you see him sitting, you know he's had the knees repaired. And ball one. Tyler Flowers, very impressive. Couple of throws in that inning. Strike. 1-1. We mentioned earlier that the Giants lost to the Cardinals 7-4, and we mentioned the Cardinals hit 4 home runs against Jeff Samardzija. Samardzija in that game had a 4-0 lead, and the Giants let it get away. Trace Thompson catching a breather after running the bases. Stolen base. Wound up standing at third. Little high on a check swing. No swing. Has to be high to Flowers. Big guy at 6'4". Three and one. Ground ball hard. Smothered by Justin Turner. And throws him out. So a nice play by Justin. And of course, you see a lot of good defensive plays when you have a pitcher like Kershaw who doesn't walk anybody, or maybe walks one. They're all on their toes, and it really pays off. So one away. Adonis Garcia coming up. By the way, should Kershaw win tonight, foul ball, should he win, he would then have 122 victories. That would tie him with Carl Erskine for 13th on the Dodger franchise list. Up next would be 123 wins, and he'd be tied with Ramon Martinez and Don Newcomb. 1-1. One out, fifth inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Kershaw single, went to second on a walk, scored on a base hit by Turner. One and two. Adonis struck out last night. He hit cleanup, struck out 3 times. So he's batting 7th tonight. Fouled away. Adonis from Cuba, which reminds us no further report on Yasiel Puig. He's had 2 DL stints last year, playing in just 79 games. Fly ball shallow center, late start, but Peterson is there. And we have 2 down. Friends, don't forget to come out early tomorrow. Viva Los Dodgers, presented by State Farm and Time Warner Cable. Family-friendly pregame festival held at the rather historic 76 station. Entry is free with a game ticket. And for more information, visit Dodgers.com/Viva. Here's Castro, walked in the 3rd inning. And a strike. That walk to Castro, a very rare and precious thing. Kershaw just doesn't give him up. With well over 100 strikeouts, Clayton has only walked 6. 0-1. Breaking ball, little fly ball coming up for it, Kendrick. So for Kershaw, Another easy inning thanks to that nice play by Justin Turner and the ball hit by Flowers. And we're heading to the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 Dodgers. Ball club. How about this? First, Freddie Freeman, high fastball to strike him out. Takes care of another. Now a fine defensive play from the third base line. Then a ground ball through for a base hit. And then Kershaw from second base is able to score when the play went to third. Otherwise, he hadn't done anything. Plus, pitching 5 innings, allowing 2 hits, striking out 4. Talk about a well-rounded athlete. Well, here's Utley and a strike. Jay struck out in the first inning, so that gave him a string of 5. And then in the third inning, long fly ball for an out to center. Jay's hitting .273. And that got a little bit of the umpire again, Kerwin Danley. It is a tough job. Joe West starts to come down from first. Kerwin waves to Joe, no, don't make the trip, I'm all right. No balls and 2 strikes. Danley has been around. I mean, he's a member of the major league staff since 1998. He was a good ball player in college. He was a first-team All-American. And he's hanging in there, as they all do. Hard ground ball, backhanded by Freeman. So Utley's hit the ball hard the last 2 at-bats. 0 for 3, however. And with 1 out, Corey Seager.
Corey Seager.
Corey Seager grounded out and walked. The only run in the third inning. With 1 out, Kershaw singled to short, went to second on a walk, and scored on the base hit by Turner. And that's it. Plus, of course, making the plays we just showed you. Oh, my goodness. Aren't you something in your pink robe? A young princess. I love mommy. You bet you do. 2-0. In looking back through the files after the 3 home run performance last night, Seager is the only rookie shortstop in big league history to have a 3 home run game. The only rookie shortstop. 3-0 the count. And there are the youngest players: Kaline, Matthews, Ott, Trosky, Powell, and Seager. Boy, he's in some great company. 3-0 in there. So Norris has done a terrific job, especially a fellow who hadn't started since late April. Here it is June. They might very well be thinking of batting for him in the 6th inning. He's made 80 some odd pitches, and they have a man up in the pen. Ground ball. Darno is there. 2 down. Eric O'Flaherty, the left-hander, is up throwing again.
Third baseman,
there he
Justin
is.
Turner.
So Justin Turner coming up. Grounded to short, single to center, 1-4-2. When the Braves come up in the 6th inning, thinking ahead, they might be hitting for Norris, then Inciarte and Darno, and if anybody gets on, the big first baseman, Freddie Freeman. Turner guessing fastball, so he gave it that high kick, and he was striding before the pitch got there. Adrian with his own thoughts on deck, and the weighted bat standing up almost like a T. Look out. 1-1. Maybe that pitch followed that aggressive look on the first pitch. I mean, Turner on that first pitch looked like he owned the pitcher. He didn't, of course, and Norris might have read it that way, so brushed him back. 1-1. Now away. Still throwing, 94. So there's gas in the tank. But he's also coming up to 90 pitches, and that's a lot, especially since he hasn't started a game since the end of April. And they're on the phone to the pen. Roger McDowell checking about O'Flaherty. You have Adrian Gonzalez on deck, and you have 2 out. So O'Flaherty, if they think about it, they might even rush him in if they have to go against Gonzalez. We'll see. It's up to Roger. Three and 1. And he walked him. So for Norris, who has done a terrific job, he has now walked 4.
First baseman, Adrian Gonzalez.
Well, they're hoping that Norris has enough left to take care of Gonzalez. Then they're able to bat for him and bring in O'Flaherty. Gonzalez 0 for 2. Grounded to second, hit back to the box. Turner at first, 1-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the 5th inning. Whoop. Almost threw that away. Freeman has saved him twice. The throws are quick, but they're way off target. No chance for Freeman to bring the glove down with a tag. On the corner. 0-1. Norris now has made 90 pitches. He's allowed 3 hits and 1 run. And that drive to right, but that's going to be in the glove of Markakis, and that's it. No runs, no hits, a walk, and a man left. And at the end of 5, 1-0 Dodgers. Sandy Koufax was a little annoyed. He had won the Cy Young Award, the Most Valuable Player Award in 1963, but here he was by this date at 64 with a record of 5-4. What did he do about it? We'll tell you in a minute, but let's get back to the game. Well, Bud Norris has convinced the Dents he's going to stay in there, and he's at the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. He's made 91 pitches. Let's go back to Sandy Koufax. 63 was magnificent, won everything, 25 wins, whatever. But in 64 on this date, he had a so-so record of 5-4. Right. And you know, back in those days, they didn't have all the video equipment that we have, where a pitcher can look for hours at his own work, see what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. Didn't have that. And that hits Norris. So Norris hit by a pitch. For Kershaw, that's a bit of an upset. Norris going to first. Kershaw had 4 hit batters. No, check me on that. 1. Just 1. And he hits an opposing pitcher. So we'll get back to Koufax. So Sandy was sitting in the visitors' locker room looking at a bunch of magazines, and he saw some studies of himself in a magazine pitching. And he looked and he saw where his right foot, in connection with the rubber, it's being left-handed, the left foot is on the rubber, but the way the right foot was, that puzzled him. And then he started to think about it, and he thought, wait a minute. Last year when I won 25, my right foot as I was striding landed this way, and look at this picture. It's standing the wrong way. So he went out to the mound and decided to try and find it, and he pitched a no-hitter against the Phillies. 1 ball, no strikes. Drag bunt, fouled away. He was hit by the bunt while in the box. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kershaw tonight is Kershaw in many ways, but it is not a Kershaw pitching performance. I don't mean just because he has only 4 strikeouts. We mentioned earlier about the swings and misses. They have totaled 9. Foul balls for Kershaw, shocking, 20. 1-2. But it's amazing how the good ones just make whatever they have. Ah, there you go. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, we got you, pal. 1-2. Tying run aboard, nobody out. Check swing. Interesting for the Braves, somewhat frustrating. In a 1-0 game, they've had a man on in every inning but the first. They had a leadoff man who arrived at third in the second inning. They had a leadoff man get to second in the third inning. Check swing. They had a leadoff man single in the fourth. They did not have a leadoff man only because Turner made a great play on a ball hit by Flowers. And now they have a leadoff man, Norris, hit by the pitch. So it is indeed a different Kershaw game. He's only allowed 2 hits. And popped up. Seager will take care of it, apparently. So Inciarte pops it up to the shortstop, and Chase Darno coming up.
Second baseman, Chase Darno.
Inciarte, who is a good ball player, we mentioned, hit 300 last year, and there are only 20 of those. But Inciarte in the leadoff spot is 0 for 7 in the 2 games. Boy, if you're the leadoff man and you've not gotten on base even once, it is a tough ride. Good player. And a strike to Darno. Darno fly to center, hit back to the box. He went 0 for 4 last night, striking out twice. So the top of the lineup last night was 0 for 10. Tonight, the top of the lineup, 5, 6, 7, 1 for 7. So Kershaw has really kept the leadoff men, starting with Inciarte, completely tied up. One ball, one strike. Fastball and a good swing. 1-2. Matt Whistler and Scott Kazmir tomorrow. In the dirt, nice block by Ellis. 2-2. In the cover of night, we no longer can see the smoke in the sky, nor can we smell it here. There's no wind at all. But the fire is still raging in the hills of Calabasas. Ground ball to the hole. Utley smothers it. Tries to get it to first. Too late. And just like that, the Braves have runners at first and second. So it'll be a base hit for Darno, despite the great efforts by Chase Utley. Just couldn't get enough on it. And look at the efforts of Darno. So that's a dirty uniform play. First for Utley, and now for Darno. All right, 2 on, 1 out, and here come the big guys, Freeman and Francoeur. Freddie Freeman is hitting .251, a much better hitter than that. Uppercutted that and missed. If you go back to 2011, There are only 36 batters in the major leagues with a .300 average with runners in scoring position. Both of tonight's first basemen are in that exclusive club, Adrian Gonzalez and Freddie Freeman. 1 ball and 1 strike. So the big first basemen, both left-hand batter and both clutch hitters. Freddie had a leadoff single in the 4th. Now he has a chance to pick somebody up. Check. 2-1. You knew when Freddie Freeman first came up that he was going to be a pitcher's nightmare, and he's been that way throughout his career, especially with men on. 2-1. Two and two. So Kershaw really facing his first challenge since a little scramble in the 2nd inning. Freeman, born in Fountain Valley, lives in Orange. 2-2. Foul back. Freddie back-to-back years had 23 home runs. In 2013 he had 109 runs batted in. That was his most productive year. That would be 2 years ago. Two and two. He's not a good 2-strike hitter. And a high fly ball, but that's all it is. Kendrick. And the run is hold. If Freddie's up there in almost any other count, 0-1, 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, 2-1, of course 3-0 and 3-1, but you get 2 strikes on him, he's just not the same hitter. So a fly ball to left field, 2 down in the 6th inning. And here's Francoeur. Francoeur singled to left and struck out, though Ellis talking to his buddy. So Bud Norris, the pitcher, started off the inning and was hit by a pitch. Inciarte popped up. Darno had an infield single, and then Freeman, the big man, with 2 on, fly ball. So it's up to Francoeur. It's still 1-0 Dodgers in the 6th inning. Kershaw has made 90 pitches. Kind of a bad ball, slider, and Francoeur pretty anxious. 0-1 to Jeff. Meanwhile, Dave Roberts and Rick Honeycutt, knowing that this is not one of those overpowering Kershaw games at all. He is really working out there. Oh and 1. Fouled away, so immediately Kershaw takes charge, jumps out in front. 0-2. Jeff Francoeur was considered one of the best football safeties in the country when he was in high school. In fact, heavily recruited by Clemson, but the Braves talked him out of going to college. They gave him over $2 million to sign. A lot of teams wanted him for football. Change curve, just missed. Georgia wanted him to play football. There's that slow curveball. Florida State, Notre Dame, Clemson almost got him, and here he is now in a big moment in a baseball game. 1-2. Two and two. One evening, Francoeur found himself in the middle of a problem. Clemson coach Tommy Bowden was visiting the Francoeur house, eating dinner with the family, and the phone rang. And Tommy Bowden heard Francoeur say, "Yes, sir, Coach Bowden." And Francoeur recalled it was Florida State coach Bobby Bowden. And Tommy said, "Give me that phone." He said, "Dad, I'm in the house visiting. Goodbye," and hung up on his father. Father and son battling for Francoeur, and now Kershaw really trying to battle him. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, 1-0 Dodgers in the 6th. In the dirt. So the Braves get a little edge in the fact the runners will be going with 2 out. That can be a big play. Nick Markakis, waiting on deck, has struck out and hit into a double play. So crank them up. Norris from second, d'Arnaud from first. There they go. And as a ground ball to short, nice play by Seager. It almost hit Norris, and Kershaw's out of the inning barely. But this is not one of those overpowering Kershaw games. He has really had to pitch tonight. And through 6, he's leading 1-0. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. This is a one for the books. Don Drysdale, who knocked down so many hitters in his career, is on the other end of a knockdown pitch. Not that it bothered Big D at all. I mean, he always felt he was subject to getting what he gave. Kind of an interesting thought. Of all the players, I think, that Don Drysdale ever threw at, I think he threw at Henry Aaron more than any other hitter. And what's so interesting, if my memory is right, if you look it up, you find out that Henry Aaron hit more home runs against Drysdale than any other hitter. So they used to have a war against each other. Meanwhile, talking about war, Kershaw has made 96 pitches. He barely got out of that 6th. He is laboring. And now a former Dodger, Chris Withrow, will take over for Bud Norris. It'll be Thompson, Peterson, and Kendrick. Joe Blanton throwing in the Dodger bullpen, and that's ball 1. Chris Withrow, Chris Michael Withrow, signed by the Dodgers back in 2007. Spent a lot of time in Chattanooga working his way up, and finally reached the Dodgers in 2013. Chris, 6'4", 220. Ball 2. Thompson has grounded out and walked, got as far as third in the 4th inning. Picked up a stolen base. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 3 hits for the Braves. Two and one. It's warm enough where Kershaw obviously has perspired enough to be loose, and he's not wrapping that valuable left arm. But he has worked hard tonight. 4 strikeouts, 6 innings. 2-2. Because that's what makes the great ones. They can go out there and still beat you on an off night. I remember asking Warren Spahn, what would you say the percentage is when you go out to the mound having your really good stuff and a Hall of Fame left-hander who won more than anybody else left-handed? Spahn said about 70%, 7 of the 10 times. So this is one of those nights for Clayton. I mean, on the same night, he hit an opposing pitcher and committed a balk. That is not Clayton Kershaw. But 1-0 Dodgers, yeah, that is. Thompson, Peterson, Kendrick. Dodger run came in the 3rd. We're now in the bottom of the 6th. Three and 2. Chris Withrow, when you look at him and you have Peterson on deck, Withrow's a chip off the old block. His father pitched in the White Sox organization, and then, as fate would have it, he became Chris's high school pitching coach. His dad made it as far as Double-A, Birmingham, in the White Sox organization. A leadoff walk to Thompson. He got a leadoff walk in the 4th. Say, friends, get your Dodger license plate frame Monday. Dodgers face the Rockies. It's available to the first 40,000 fans and presented by Arco. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. All right, Thompson at first. Back in the 4th inning, Trace stole second base. Peterson hit a line drive at Darno for an out. Dodgers left Thompson at 3rd back in the 4th inning. Fastball, cracked bat, foul ball. Foul ball off the glove of Freddie Freeman. Take another look. There's the glove in foul ground right in front of Joe West. 0-1 the count. Peterson checking with Chris Woodward in the 3rd base coaching box. Now Jock back in. No balls and 1 strike. Withrow, being from Texas, I guess it's no surprise. As a kid, he looked up to Roger Clemens. But in Little League, he was a shortstop, and then he looked up to Nomar Garcia-Parra. In fact, Chris said, I wanted to really be like Nomar, not Roger. 0-1. Little foul, out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Jock Peterson was 0 for 20 when he walked up to the plate in the 2nd inning and doubled a right. Then last time up, lined out to Darno. So he's starting to make good contact again. Patience exercised by Dave Roberts, staying with him. Oh, 0-2. There he goes, and the pitch is lifted to the left side. All alone is the third baseman Garcia. They tried to sucker Thompson in, faking a play at second base, so he went into a slide, but the ball was hit so high he was still able to recover and get back. Darno was doing a pretty good job, as if there was going to be a play. So Peterson pops it up. 1 out. Kendrick the batter. Kendrick is grounded out and walked. And ball 1. Norris had trouble with the strike zone. Bud Norris walked 4. But each time he was able to fight his way out of it. The only run came on the leadoff single by Kershaw back in the 3rd inning. So Thompson with the long strides, stealing second base in the 4th, and right now he's kind of a marked man. A.J. Ellis batting 8th on deck. One ball and no strikes to count. Thompson goes foul back. 1-1. So Chris Woodward hanging out a sign, perhaps. Chris Withrow working on a new ball. They're really trying to tie out Thompson. He's still able to grin about it as he's talking to George Lombard. 1-1. Not going. Foul ball. 1-2 the count. Kendrick grounded out and walked. Seager has walked. Thompson has walked twice. Kendrick has walked. And Turner has walked. That's been really the extent of a Dodger offense that saw Peterson come up with a double and a couple of singles. And it was Kershaw's single up the middle that eventually was scored. Thompson going to wear him down, which of course is part of it. He's going, then he stops. 2-2. Pretty good fake. Chris Withrow, as he looks in for a sign, got the scare of his life a couple of years ago, so the pressure in baseball certainly doesn't bother him. There goes Thompson. Missed at the plate. Short hop at second, and he's safe. Flowers did not get off one of his better throws that time. It took a little while to get there. So Kendrick strikes out, but Thompson succeeds in stealing. Now you have Ellis, and you will not have Kershaw. K.K. Hernandez is out on deck. What are we talking about with Withrow? Well, he was driving to visit his family in Austin, and his car was struck by a car that had swerved out of control. The collision was at 70 miles an hour, knocking his car sideways and rolling over. And thank the good Lord, Withrow and his wife emerged with relatively minor injuries. 0-1 to Ellis. So TK on deck. Ellis has grounded out, fly to center. Two out, sixth inning, 1-0 Dodgers. And that's a strike. 0-2. Withrow, by the way, when that car accident, wound up with bruised ribs. That's all. But what it did do, it spoiled his plans for pitching in the winter in Puerto Rico. Oh, and 2. Fastball on the hands at 93. So Ellis, who caught Withrow when Chris was with the Dodgers last couple of years. Now, is he listening to his own music? I think so. That's the trombone section. And here are the violins. Foul ball and another good fastball at 95. Boy, Chris looks mean, doesn't he? 0-2, 2 out. Sixth inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Giants lost, so a victory would cut one game in the lead to 4.5. And a high pop fly, d'Arnaud. So the Dodgers, no runs, no hits. There was a walk and a man left. Nice bit of job going on for Chris. And at the end of 6, still 1-0 Dodgers. Let's take a look at what's ahead for the Dodgers. First of all, tomorrow, Matt Whistler and Scott Kazmir. Then the Dodgers dig in for the arrival of the Colorado Rockies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they leave. They'll go to San Francisco and Arizona and then come back for Milwaukee and Washington. So check your calendar and we'll see you at the ballpark. Joe Blanton will pick up for Clayton Kershaw. As we mentioned very early in the night, it was not a Kershaw game. It was something different. He had to labor, and he is so good that when it's not his night, he still leads when he goes out of the game 1-0. Meanwhile, Blanton has Nick Markakis lead off with a single in the 7th inning.
Catcher, Tyler Flowers.
And where would the Dodgers be without Kershaw? Not only a shutout for 6, he got the base hit and eventually scored the only run. And he gives that 1-0 lead to Joe Blanton. Tyler Flowers, the big catcher. grounded to third twice. The second time, Turner took a hit away from him. But again, that was against Kershaw. Right. One run, 3 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 4 hits for Atlanta. Kershaw walked 1 and hit a batter. Dodgers, meanwhile, have received 5 walks. And they haven't been able to do anything with any of the 5. Off the plate, 1-2. Joe Blanton trying to pick up hopefully a win for his buddy Kershaw. Adam Liebertor is up, and there's a fly ball to Jack Peterson. So Flowers, fly ball, 1 down. Markakis at first, and here comes Garcia. So it's not a question of getting a man on. Braves have done that pretty well. They've gotten a man on in 6 of the 7 innings. I think in 5 of the 7. Foul back. I keep thinking of that Flowers play where Turner took a hit away from. Inciarte, meanwhile, trying to figure out this very tough game. Fellow hit over 300 last year, which was a tremendous accomplishment. Came into the game hitting .204, and he's 0 for 7 in the series. Of course, one thing the Dodgers know about the Braves, they played them in April and they won 2 out of 3. That sounds easy. But both of the Dodger victories were 10 innings. And the Braves playing them very tough again tonight, even last night. Oh and 2. 1-2. Adonis Garcia has struck out, fly to center. Daniel Castro on deck. Off the plate. Why are the Braves so off at 16.5 games behind Washington? Well, we've been talking about the Braves getting a man on base. So what are they with a man on? They're 1 for 12. And that's smoke to center. Here comes Peterson, a sliding catch. And wait a minute, the third base umpire is saying the ball was in play. So it's a sinking line drive that was trapped by Peterson. And we might have a little discussion now. First base was occupied by Markakis. Take another look. It is a, well, what do you say? Did that ball land in his glove? I think Markakis will be called out. Well, now they're going to talk about it. It was the call by Mark Ripperger, the third base umpire. Take a look. It's in the glove. Didn't hit the. So it was not a safe in play call. It was an out. All right. Markakis then stays at first. Garcia is out. Dave Roberts wants to double check with Kerwin Danley. Markakis listening to Terry Pendleton. And all is in order. Play like that in center field Normally, you would expect
Shortstop
the
Daniel
second
Castro.
base umpire to go out and make the call, but with a runner on, he was probably interested in watching the runner. So Peterson caught it. Garcia is out. 2 down. And Castro with Markakis at first. In fact, now Markakis is back in the dugout and Garcia is at first. Now, why would Garcia be at first if he was out? And he's safe. One runner past the other. Dave Roberts not too happy. I mean, the ball was caught in center field by Peterson. So by rights, Garcia, who had hit the ball, would be out and Markakis would be at first. Somebody passed somebody on the lines. Well, it's still 1-0 Dodgers. 1 ball, 1 strike on Castro. And of all people, Garcia is at second base. Foul ball out of play. I really don't understand. One and two. Little ground ball at the end of the bat. Seager makes the throw. And a somewhat perplexing inning. And look at the ice cream cone that Adrian had. So Garcia hits a line drive caught by Jock Peterson. And he is still on the base paths. And the plate umpire, Kerwin Danley, is shaken up. He's down on one knee. We'll have to take another look to see what caused Derwin to get hit. Wow. We'll be back. Had a tough night. Foul ball off the knee, and then the hitter finally takes charge. Watch Castro. He'll swing. The bat will go around and nail him right on the left arm near the elbow. The Kerwin driven to his knees, obviously in great pain. And as always, these guys are so tough, and they refuse to come out. So Danley's going to go right back to work, and Kike Hernandez will come up and bat for Joe Blanton. 7th inning, 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Who's at third? I don't know. Abbott and Costello, Chapter 2. I mean, it's a little confusing. There's a line drive hit to center. The center fielder Peterson dives for the ball. It's hit by Garcia. The third base umpire indicates that it was not a catch, but it was a catch. But they take Markakis off the lines and allow Garcia to run, who had been out even though he had been called safe. One ball and one strike to Kike Hernandez. High fly ball down the line, coming over is Francoeur on the track and makes the catch. The Kike had a pretty good at bat, but a long, loud out. Now, after that near home run, I think they're going to go to the bullpen. The left-hand Eric O'Flaherty has been down there. Snitker, skipper's going to the mound, and he wants the ball. So we'll be back. Brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better. Dodgers clinging to a 1-0 lead here in the 7th inning with one out. Utley will be facing Eric George O'Flaherty from Walla Walla, Washington. 6'2", about 220, 31 years old, and a strike. O'Flaherty originally signed by the Mariners out of high school way back in 2003. Played for a lot of clubs. One ball and one strike. Utley tonight struck out, fly to center, grounded out, 0 for 3. O'Flaherty has been with the Braves before. He went from the Mariners to the Braves in 2009, stayed with the Braves, then went to the Oakland A's, then went to the Mets, and wound up this year back with the Braves again. 1-2. Fastball hit to center. Inciarte goes back to pick it off. So Utley, after striking out 5 straight times, makes a good play. I think the fans out there are on Inciarte. He's a very good outfielder. Gold Glover. 2 down. And Corey Seager coming up. Grounded out, walk, grounded out again. Eric O'Flaherty is the son of a letter carrier and a nurse. He's the third of 4 children. High pop fly back at third, angling over behind Garcia, who insists on making the catch. Castro was right behind him, but Garcia was going to play with that for sure. All right, the Dodgers go 1-2-3, and we are heading to the 8th. 1-0 Dodgers. Live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and so much more. Download MLB.com at Bat. That's the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. You know, a lot of work going on those cell phones right now. Pedro Baez becomes the new Dodger pitcher after Kershaw and Blanton. And Baez will face Mallex Smith. Smith played last night, batted 9th, and had 2 base hits, driving in a run. Explaining the odd name Mallex, M-A-L-E-X. Mallex said that everybody in the family's name begins with an M. However, his mom saw a young man named Alex, whom she thought was the smartest young man she had ever met, etc., etc. So she decided he would take Alex and put an M-A-L in front of it, and anyway, you got it, Mallex. Left-hand hitter, didn't start because of Kershaw. Hitting .246, 3 home runs, 20 runs batted in, and should he get on base, he can be a terror. Runs very well, stole as many as 64 in the minors. 0-1. Good overhand slider. No balls, 2 strikes. Smith originally signed by the Padres. He's from Florida, Tallahassee. 5'9", so you don't have a big strike zone. Dribbles foul, 0-2. Smith's first home run was something to remember. He hit a ball, and all he knew was to run. He slid headfirst into third. The helmet came off, caught him on the nose. He had 5 stitches on the bridge of the nose, and while stretched out in the dirt, the third base coach said, "By the way, that's a home run." Ball cleared the wall. So he took his bloody, stitched nose, got up, and had himself his first big league home run. Well, he now has 3. No balls and 2 strikes. Smith, 23 years old. See you later. 98 mile an hour. So 1 down. Inciarte coming up. Take another look. No doubt. Even though it had been a Kershaw game for 6 innings, it was not a typical Kershaw game at all as far as strikeouts. Clayton had 4 strikeouts. He had a walk and a hit batter, but he also had a base hit and scored the only run in the game. Foul ball. Boy, if ever anybody wanted to have a base hit, it's Inciarte. He is 0 for 3, 0 for 7, and last year a 300 hitter. He's under 200 right now. Boy, Baez throwing 97 after a 98 to take care of Smith. Top of the 8th, 1 out, 1-0 Dodgers. The only run scored in the 3rd. Base hit by Kershaw, and Clayton scored the only run. 1-2. Baez is 6'2", about 230 pounds. 28 years old. Signed by the Dodgers back in 2007. One and two. Two balls and 2 strikes. Pedro's from Boni in the Dominican Republic. The paid attendance tonight with Kershaw pitching, 47,126. 47,126. Dodgers averaging 45 a game. They had 46 last night. See you tomorrow. Whistler and Kazmir. And that's a hopper into right field. So Baez stopping with the fastball, and a high slider was promptly banged into right. So Inciarte finally comes up with one. He's 1 for 8, but he's also the tying run. Checking Inciarte as Darno checks in. Inciarte does some running. He has stolen 3 bases. He's been caught twice. And a stolen base would be a very big play late in this game. Darno fly to center, hit back to the box, and had an infield single. Smothered by Utley on his knees, tried to throw to first and couldn't get there in time. Alexi Ogando and Jim Johnson warming up in the Braves bullpen. We saw Jim Johnson, a former Dodger, last night. Johnson on the right. Though it figures that you're going to be all eyes on Inciarte. Last place, 16.5 back of Washington. They have nothing to lose, especially on the road. They've only won 6 games at home. They're 6-23 at home. Right. One run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 5 hits for the Braves. One and one. So he struck out Smith. Inciarte singled on a slider. And Darno has just looked at a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a 1-1 count. Waiting on deck, Freddie Freeman. Two and one. Kershaw, Blanton, and Baez. For the Braves, Norris, Withrow, and O'Flaherty, and we're in the 8th. The only run in the 3rd inning. Kershaw rolled one up the middle, smothered by Castro, got up and threw too late. Kershaw took second on a 2-out walk to Seager and scored on a single up the middle by Justin Turner, and that's it. Only 1 out here in the 8th inning. Inciarte, who runs well, tying run at first. There he goes. The pitch, a strike, the throw, got it. And look at Inciarte shaking his finger at the second base umpire, Ramon de Jesus, saying no, no. He's still standing on the bag, and Snitker's going to come out. Snitker will head to Cowboy Joe West. Here's the play. Watch. Can't really tell. The glove is blocked by Seager. But when Inciarte comes up, now it's a better view. Close. Inciarte certainly feels he's got it. Umpire says, no, look at him. No, no, no. No, that means a meeting. Well, one thing, De Jesus certainly had a good shot. He was right there in perfect position to have a look, ring him up, and Inciarte still insisting no. He's looking at the big screen, as we all are, but the umpires are checking with New York. Joe West, the crew chief, he's the one with the headphones. Inciarte has stolen 3, but he's also been caught twice. Can't see there. It looks like the foot's on the bag before the tag, but that's only one quick view. Here comes the glove, but Was the foot on ahead of it? Inciarte said, no. Reminds me of Gerardo Parra. He would catch a ball and fire in when somebody's going to try to take advantage and then stop, and then Parra would gesture, no. Big play, big call this late in the game, 1-0. Remember, on deck, Freddie Freeman. Freeman tonight struck out, single, flied to left. Joe calls him out. So Inciarte will lose that. Ellis to Seager. Inciarte is still not convinced what he's done. So 2 out. Nice play by A.J. Ellis to get him. Snitker shaking his head, can't believe it. Inciarte certainly can't believe it, still not convinced. 2 out in the 8th, 1-0 Dodgers. d'Arnaud still at the plate and Freeman still on deck. And that'll be that. So no runs, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts for Baez, and at the end of 7 1/2, a frustrated Inciarte and a 1-0 Dodger lead. Lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Alexi Ogando, he's from San Pedro de Macri in the Dominican. He wanted to be an outfielder, but he couldn't quite cut it. He did have a good throwing arm, and so they made him a pitcher, and here he is. Had a lot of trouble years ago with his visa coming from the Dominican, along with a lot of other young players. There was a visa fraud scandal involving human trafficking, and it was pretty tough, but he finally made it and got his career started. Ogando will be faced with Turner, Gonzalez, and Thompson. Throws very hard. He's known to hit 100 on the gun. Well, there's 94. Fastball, slider, changeup, and a splitter. The four-seamer he throws most of the time, and then the slider. So he's a hard ball pitcher. Two and 0. Alexi is 6'4", 195. He's pitched in the World Series with Texas. Two and 0. Off speed. That's his changeup. Boy, he looks taller than 6'4". Three and 0. I wouldn't have been surprised if they green lighted Turner. 3 and 0. 3 and 1. Justin's base hit in the third inning to center scored Kershaw, and that's it. There's a 3-1 fastball. 3 and 2. Another push against shove game. 47,126. Dodgers trying to pick up a game tonight. Giants lost 7-4. Cardinals hit 4 home runs against Jeff Samardzija. So the Dodgers could cut the lead of the Giants to 4.5. And that's going to be hit into right center. Inciarte can't catch it, and it gets by him. And Turner's into second and will hold up. So Inciarte is at a very, very frustrating time in center. Annoyed, missed when he thought he had stolen second base, and he overcommitted on that ball. In his mind, he could catch it, and by the time he got that close, it skipped by him. The fans out there in the pavilion have been on him a little bit, but he has taken it with a lot of grins. But I bet he's not so happy now, and you can bet they're on him again. Maybe he's still thinking about that call at second base. Whatever. Turner is at second on a double. So Gonzalez, Thompson, and Peterson now trying to pick him up. And a strike. To look ahead when the ninth inning comes for the Braves, they have the heart of the lineup, numbers 3, 4, and 5. Freeman, Francoeur, and Markakis. Turner at second, nobody out. Fastball, 95. Alexi Ogando. Well, we've seen Norris, who did very well. Bud, 5 innings, allowed 1 run, 3 hits. For a guy who hadn't started since back in April, that was a great effort for him. 1-1. Fastball, little roller. Freeman on the bag, and over to third goes Turner. Well, one way or another, Adrian gets him to third, and with 1 out, it's up to Thompson to pick him up. Thompson grounded out in the second inning and has walked twice, each time stolen second. And Roger McDowell going out to talk to Ogando how they want Thompson pitched. Thompson using the time to visit Kerwin Danley, and Roger the Dodger talking to Ogando. When Roger was with the Mets, He was on every highlight film late at night, especially when he'd be in Wrigley Field, Chicago. He'd get a groundkeeper's hose, and he would hose down the people in the bleachers in Wrigley, and they loved him for it. Of course, he was with the Dodgers, and we found out what a delightful guy he was as a player, and he's a wonderful pitching coach. Roger McDowell. All right. Here's Thompson with a runner at third, the infield up. We'll check Ogando as far as possible wild pitches. He has 3 of them. So look out here. Right. Well, he's been living at 95, so that 100-mile-an-hour fastball that they had in the notes, we haven't seen anything close to that. Baez comes much closer at 98. 0-1. One and one. Matt Whistler and Scott Kazmir tomorrow, the concluding game of the series, as Gonzalez and Utley put their heads together, 2 veterans. One and one. In the dirt. Nice save by Flowers. Tyler able to block that 95 bullet. 2-1. Justin Turner at third, 1 out, 8th inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Fastball fouled off. 2-2. Remember the 2 victories the Dodgers had in Atlanta in a 2-out-of-3 series. Both victories were in 10 innings. Braves playing them very tough. Kenley Jansen getting ready for the 9th inning for Freeman, Francoeur, and Markakis. Breaking ball. Slider in the dirt, and again, nice block by Flowers, especially with a runner at third. So he has 3 wild pitches, and he's come close twice. Good play by Flowers, too. He did not try to backhand that. We've seen so many catches with a runner on base try to backhand that. But following Roy Campanella, all you want to do is block it with your body, and that's exactly what he did. Good play by the catcher. 3-2. Foul back. Took a lot off that. Jock Peterson waiting on deck. Three and two. .95, and he fouled it off, so the battle continues. Giants lost. Cardinals beat them 7-4. They hit 4 home runs against Samardzija. Dodgers trying to beat Atlanta here at Dodger Stadium. 7 of the last 8 meetings, but Atlanta is not going quiet into that good night. 3-2. Foul. Foul back. I think he's thrown one off-speed pitch at 85. All of the others 94 and 95. That one off-speed pitch, I believe, was a slider. 3-2. And the fastball is low. That's his 87, so maybe it was a slider. It hurried up there, but he missed. So Thompson, for the Dodgers, gets another walk. Ian Kroll, a left-hander, gets up. Snitker going out to the mound. You have Jock Peterson due up. So we'll see. They will take the ball away from Ogando. They will bring in the left-hander, and we'll be back. He's an Illinois boy. 6'1", 190, 25 years old. Originally signed by the Oakland A's from Naperville, Illinois. Grew up as a youngster, going to a lot of games at Wrigley Field. Jock Peterson will check in after being 0 for 20. Tonight he doubled in his first at-bat, lined out to second and popped up. So 1-4-3. Runners at the corners and one out. And of course, Thompson has been busy. He has walked 3 times and he has stolen 2. And there he goes on a drag bunt by the mound. Picked up by Darno. No play. And the Dodgers steal a run. Jock Peterson dragging the bunt by the mound. And everybody delighted in the Dodger dugout. The last thing that anyone would expect, it was a safety. In other words, Justin was not coming on the pitch. It was just a perfectly executed drag bunt single. So Peterson goes 2 for 4 tonight and picks up a big run batted in as Turner brings it in. So the Dodgers receiving 6 walks tonight, and yet they have not been able to score one of those who walked. 0-1 to Kendrick. Yep, 6 walks. And they lead 2-0. Big smile on Seager's face. He walked and got to third one inning. Otherwise, he's 0 for 3. There go the runners. Double steal. Throw down to third. Not in time. Dodgers pull it off. So the Dodgers now showing a little ingenuity and attack. A drag bunt single and a double steal. And that lifts the spirits of this crowd as well. There they go. Flowers gets it down there, but too late. It's not like Ian Kroll is some rookie. He's been pitching for the last 8 years. Now they're going to walk Kendrick intentionally, which means the 7th walk that the Dodgers have received tonight. That will load up the bases, and A.J. Ellis will be coming up, checking the chart as to what that will tell him about Kroll. We can tell him basically that Kroll, sinking fastball plus the four-seamer, curve and a change. So Kroll came in to pitch to Peterson. The Dag bunt single. Snitker now has been burned twice. And his left-hander Kroll will come out. The run scored by Turner was charged to Ogando, and we'll be right back. With the bases loaded, 1 out, a run in, and the Dodgers leading 2-0, trying to take a lot of pressure off whoever is going to pitch the 9th inning. John Michael Gant out of Savannah, Georgia, and Wesley Chapel, Florida. He was originally signed by the Mets back in 2011. Signed with the Mets. They chose him in the 21st round. He was originally from New York, but a transplant in Florida. Went to LIU back in New York before moving. He's only 24 years old. Well, actually, he's only 23. He won't be 24 until August. Gant is 6'5", 200 pounds, and checking in against A.J. Ellis, who has 1 grand slam. He hit it in Colorado. Foul ball, 0-1. Gant, fastball, curve, and change. 6'5". Fastball and a high fly ball. Looks playable. Going back is Francoeur to make the catch. Everybody tags. 1 run comes in. Moving over to third is Peterson. And the Dodgers lead 3-0 as Ellis comes up with a big sac fly. Thompson carries it in. So a sac fly for A.J. Dodgers now 3 runs, 5 hits. The Braves no run, 5 hits. Yasmani Grandal, who has a hand injury. They're not saying much about it, but he's had some problems. As you can see, for the last 15 games, hitting less than 100, so you know he's hurting. It's his left hand, top hand, when he's hitting left-handed. It's the gloved hand when he's catching. Off speed, ball 1. Dave Roberts said he thinks the problem with Grandal, he was hit on the hand when they played back in Toronto. Kendrick holding at first. Peterson over at third. Never mind Peterson's home run. That drag bunt was a beauty. One and one to count to Grandal. Batting for Baez. Dodgers with Kershaw, Blanton, Baez. Clayton is the pitcher of record. He could win a squeaker tonight. 1 and 1. To repeat, when the Braves come up in the ninth, when it was 1-0, that was quite a threat. Freeman, Francoeur, and Markakis. Now the Dodgers have a little breathing room, leading 3-0. Utley on deck. Little foul, 1-2. Kendrick and Peterson at the corners. 2-2. John Gant in relief is pitching his first game for the Braves as AJ and Justin look on. He had pitched in 5 games earlier and they just called him back up. There goes Kendrick, off speed, a flare into shallow left. It'll drop for a hit. Kendrick still running, and he's at third. So the Dodgers lead 4-0. Jock Peterson is going to get a great greeting in the dugout for that bunt. Mitch Poole is over there. I'm not sure if they're looking to the old bubble machine. All eyes are in the corner. Oh, that's Steve Yeager down there. There's a ball on a bottle. So the Dodgers in high spirits right now, leading 4-0, and the batter is Utley. As Grandal gets himself a pop fly single and a run batted in. Kendrick going all the way to third. He was on his way to second, and ball 1 to Utley. Down in the pen, Liberatore now is throwing. So with the Dodgers with a reasonable, comfortable lead of 4-0. Jansen might very well be able to take the night off. We'll see. Off-speed curveball, a hopper right to Freeman, and that's that. But the Dodgers get 3, loosening up everything, and we go to the ninth. Freeman, Francoeur, and Markakis, with the Dodgers leading 4-0. In the 8th inning, they get some help with a couple of walks. They also had 3 singles. And Kenley Jansen is called in, despite the fact Liberatore warming alongside of him. And it looked like 4-0. They would give Kenley the night off, but that's not to be. He has saved 16 and 18 opportunities, and his numbers especially 21 strikeouts and 1 walk. Dodger bullpen has been very, very effective since May 21st. An ERA of 1.3, so Rick Honeycutt has to be very happy of the work of his boys. And Kenley, of course, leading the way. So Kershaw went 6. He could be the winning pitcher. Then it was Blanton and Baez, and now Kenley facing Freddie Freeman, who has struck out, singled, and flied to left. Dodgers load up the right side. Checked on a fastball, ball 1. Four runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 7 walks. No runs, 5 hits for the Braves. 2-0. Dodgers have been, what would we call them, routine, but boy, not in the 8th inning. That drag bunt by Peterson really shook up the place. Then the double steal. 2-0. 2-1. Freddie walked twice last night. Struck out, flied to left. Tonight he has struck out, singled, and flied to left. And ball 3. Strike, 3-2. Waiting on deck, Jeff Francoeur, and then Nick Markakis. Pulled foul. 47,126. Quite a few have decided the game is over. Many have gone home. But the Saturday night crowd is very much here. Three and 2. And ball 4. So the Dodgers received so many walks, they now give one up. That's the second walk given to
Fielder
Atlanta.
number 18, Jeff Francoeur.
And now let's see, they're going to award him second base. I'm not sure why. I wasn't looking, to be honest. A day's look. Somehow, can we backtrack back a little bit? Gonzalez talking. Okay. Oh, he threw the ball out. Oh, yeah. Kenley took a ball that was in play and just threw it out. And they advance Freeman on that play. Dave Roberts saying, well, now that's a new one. Although I'm sure he's aware of it, but why Kenley threw that away, not quite sure. So Freeman at second and Francoeur up to the plate. There'll be an error charge, a mental error as well, on Kenley Jansen. High slicing fly ball. Thompson coming over, picks it off. tagging from second. Moving to third is Freeman. And we have one out in the ninth inning.
Right fielder number 22, Nick Markakis.
So Markakis coming up. He struck out, grounded into a double play, and singled. I tell you, we've seen two things tonight that you would go to 1,000 games and not see. Number one was that ball hit by Garcia with Markakis at first. The third base umpire said no catch. They looked at it. It was a catch. And despite the fact that Garcia hit a ball that was caught by Peterson, he was awarded first base, and they took Markakis off the lines. And now, out of a clear blue sky, Kenley Jansen throws a ball that's in play, out of play. Advances the runner to second, who's now at third with one out. Markakis 1-for-3. And waiting on deck, down a bit, Adonis Garcia. Still 0-2. One out, ninth inning, 4-0 Dodgers. They are 2 outs away from cutting the Giants' lead to 4.5 games. Giants lost today 7-4. Cardinals hit 4 home runs against Jeff Samardzija. And tomorrow it'll be Scott Kazmir and Matt Whistler. Dodgers have a stretch. They play 13 of 16 games against teams under 500. The only 3 above would be the 3 with the Giants in San Francisco, 10, 11, and 12th of June. 0-2. Markakis 1-for-3 tonight. 0-for-4 last night. 1-for-7 in the series. 1-2. Freddie Freeman walked, took second on the freak play when Kenley just threw the ball away and wanted a new ball to pitch with. Freeman took third on a fly ball to right. And Markakis can't pick him up.
Catcher number 25.
Fastball up, no way to catch up to it. So 2 down. Markakis a picture of dejection. He has known far better times. And here's Flowers, grounded to third twice. One of them, Justin Turner made a great play to take a hit away from him back in the 5th inning. Last time up, fly to center. Right. The Braves have been shut out 6 times. So they have a runner 90 feet away. And they're on the edge of their 7th shutout. Four runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers with 1 error. That charge to Jansen. No runs, 5 hits for the Braves. Clayton Kershaw will pick up the victory. Bud Norris will suffer the defeat. One and two. Kershaw, Blanton, Baez, and Jansen. Norris, Withrow, O'Flaherty, Ogando, Kroll, and Gant for the Braves. Tomorrow, Whistler and Kazmir. 2-2. So Flowers strikes out. Jansen strikes out 2. And for the 7th time this year, the Braves are shut out. It took Jansen 19 pitches to close it out. Player of the game, how about Justin Turner? He made a dazzling play with the glove. With the bat, he had a walk, a single, and a double. He was always in the middle of things. And scored Kershaw with the only run for quite a while until the Dodgers broke it open in the 8th inning. Well, it'll be Whistler and Kazmir tomorrow. Until then, we wish you all a very pleasant good evening, everybody.